I'm a vampire. I'm gonna read you guys this bedtime story. Let's get right into this. So, I know vampires don't need glasses, but just for aesthetic purposes, I'm gonna put these on. Because you guys are used to me wearing these, right? So, I'll put these on. See? Now, I look more like myself, don't I? Okay. Number 12. All the friends I ever had. Down the hall in his room, my brother was asleep. His kippa dropped to the floor. Printed on the lining in gold letters was Marcia and Joe's wedding, June 13th, 1987. And though Bird claimed to have found it in the dining room cabinet and was convinced it had belonged to Dad, none of us had ever heard of Marcia or Joe. I sat down next to him. His body was warm, almost hot. I thought about how, if I hadn't made up so many things about Dad, maybe Bird wouldn't have worshipped him so much and believed he himself needed to be something extraordinary. Rain splashed against windows. "Wake up," I whispered. He opened his eyes and groaned. Light shone in from the hallway. "Bird," I said, touching his arm. He squinted up at me and rubbed his eye. "You have to stop talking about God, okay?" He didn't say anything, but I was pretty sure he was awake now. "You're going to be 12 soon. You have to stop making weird noises and jumping off things and hurting yourself." I knew I was pleading with him, but I didn't care. "You have to stop wetting your bed," I whispered, and now in the dim light I saw the hurt on his face. "You have to just push your feelings down and try to be normal. If you don't..." His mouth tightened, but he didn't speak. "You have to make some friends," I said. "I have a friend," he whispered. "Who?" "Mr. Goldstein." "You have to make more than one." "You don't have more than one," he said. "The only person who ever calls you is Misha." "Yes, I do. I have plenty of friends," I said, and only as the words came out did I realize they weren't true. Number 13. In another room, my mother slept curled next to the warmth of a pile of books. Number 14. I tried not to think about. A. Misha Slavsky. B. Luba the Great. C. Bird. D. My mother. And E. Isaac Moritz. Number 15. I should get out more, join some clubs. I should buy some new clothes, dye my hair blue, let Herman Cooper take me on a ride in his father's car, kiss me, and probably even feel my non-existent breasts. I should develop some useful skills like public speaking, electric cello, or welding. See a doctor about my stomach aches. Find a hero that is not a man who wrote a children's book and crashed his plane. Stop trying to set up my father's tent in record time. Throw away my notebooks. Stand up straight and cut this habit of answering any question regarding my well-being with a reply fit for a prim English schoolgirl who believes life is nothing but a long preparation for a few finger sandwiches with the Queen. Number 16. 100 things can change your life. I opened my desk drawer and turned it upside down in search of the piece of paper on which I'd copied the address for Jacob Marcus, who was really Isaac Moritz. Under a report card, I found an old letter from Misha, one of his first. "Dear Alma," it said, "how are you knowing me so well? I think we are like two peas in a pod. It is true I like John more than Paul, but I have large respect for Ringo too." Saturday morning, I printed a map and the directions off the internet and told my mother I was going to Misha's house for the day. Then I walked up the street and knocked on the Cooper's door. Herman came out with his hair sticking up, wearing a Sex Pistols t-shirt. "Whoa," he said when he saw me. He stepped back from the door. "Do you want to go for a ride?" I asked. "Is this a joke?" "No." "Okay," said Herman. "Hold, please." He went upstairs to ask his father for the keys, and when he came down, he'd wet his hair and changed into a fresh blue t-shirt. Number 17. Look at me. Where are we going? Canada? Herman asked when he saw the map. There was a pale band around his wrist where his watch had been all summer. Connecticut, I said. Only if you take off that hood, he said. Why? I can't see your face. I pushed it off. He smiled at me. There was still sleep in the corner of his eye, a drop his forehead. I read him the directions and we talked about the colleges he was applying for next year. He told me he was considering a major in marine biology because he wanted to live a life like Jacques Cousteau. I thought maybe we had more in common than I'd originally thought. He asked me what I wanted to become, and I said I'd briefly considered paleontology, and then he asked me what a paleontologist did. So I told him if he took a complete illustrated guide to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, shredded it into 100 pieces, cast them into the wind from the museum steps, etc. And then he asked me why I changed my mind, and I told him I thought I wasn't cut out for it. So he asked me what I thought I was cut out for, and I said, "It's a long story." So he said, "I have time." So I said, "You really want to know?" And he said, "Yes." So I told him the truth, beginning with my father's Swiss Army knife and the book of edible plants and flowers in North America, and ending with my plans to one day explore the Arctic wilderness with nothing but what I could carry on my back. "I wish you wouldn't," he said. Then we took a wrong exit and stopped at a gas station to ask for directions and buy some sweet tarts. "These are on me," Herman said when I took out my wallet to pay. When he handed a $5 bill across the counter, his hands were shaking. Number 18. I told him the whole story about the history of love. It was raining so hard that we had to pull over to the side of the road. I took my sneakers off and put my feet up on the dashboard. Herman wrote my name in the fog on the windshield. Then we reminisced about a water fight we'd had 100 years ago, and I felt a pang of sadness that next year Herman would be gone to start his life. 19. I just do. After looking forever, we finally found the dirt road to Isaac Morit's house. We must have driven past it 2 or 3 times without noticing it. I'd been ready to give up, but Herman wouldn't. My palms started to sweat as we drove up the muddy drive because I'd never met a famous writer before, and definitely not one I'd forged a letter to. The numbers of Isaac Morit's address were nailed to a big maple tree. "How do you know it's a maple?" Herman asked. "I just do," I said, sparing him the details. Then I saw the lake. Herman pulled up to the house and turned off the car. Suddenly it was very quiet. I leaned down to tie my sneakers. When I sat up, he was looking at me. His face was hopeful and unbelieving and also a little sad, and I wondered if it was anything like my father's face when he looked at my mother all those years ago at the Dead Sea, setting in motion a train of events that had finally brought me here, to the middle of nowhere, with a boy I'd grown up with but hardly knew. Number 20. Shallon, shallop, shallot, shallow. I got out of the car and took a deep breath. I thought, my name is Alma Singer. You don't know me, but I was named after your mother. Number 21. Shalom, sham, shaman, shamble. I knocked on the door. There was no answer. I rang the bell, but there was still no answer. So I walked around the house and looked into the windows. It was dark inside. When I came back around to the front, Herman was leaning against the car with his arms crossed over his chest. Number 22. I decided there was nothing left to lose. We sat together on the porch of Isaac Morit's house, swinging on a bench and watching the rain. I asked Herman if he'd ever heard of Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, and when he said no, I asked him if he'd ever heard of The Little Prince, and he said he thought he had. So I told him about the time Saint X crashed in the Libyan desert, drank the dew off the airplane's wings which he'd gathered with an oil-stained rag, and walked hundreds of miles dehydrated and delirious from the heat and cold. When I got to the part about how he was found by some Bedouins, Herman slipped his hand into mine, and I thought an average of 74 species become extinct every day, which was one good reason, but not the only one, to hold someone's hand. And the next thing that happened was we kissed each other, and I found I knew how, and I felt happy and sad in equal parts because I knew that I was falling in love, but it wasn't with him. We waited a long time, but Isaac never came. I didn't know what else to do, so I left a note on the door with my telephone number. A week and a half later, I remember the date, October 5th. My mother was reading the newspaper and she said, "Remember that writer you asked me about, Isaac Moritz?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "There's an obituary for to you about something. Of course, darling. Come here. I took a few steps into the room. There was so much I wanted to say. I need you to be, I said, and then I started to cry. Be what? She said, opening her arms. Not sad, I said. I'm gonna stop there for today. Oh my gosh, I just got full body goosebumps. Because it's coming together, but it's like really sad. But it's still really interesting. Also, it's very cold in my house. Not that I care because I'm a vampire. No big deal. I have heat. I just turned it off for this video so that it didn't interrupt. This book, it's coming together. Oh my gosh. Look at how close we are to finishing it. Okay. I have like bouts of like extreme excitement about certain things, and this is one of those things that I'm like, I get really excited about sharing with you guys because I get enough excitement reading it by myself. Like the first time I read this book years ago, it just makes me very ecstatic, and to be able to share it with people now and to be rereading it because I've been through a lot of trauma in my early 20s, so I don't remember any of this, honestly, like really. So to be able to share this experience with you guys is amazing. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you did like this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to my channel. That way you'll see every new video from me, and also hit that notification bell if you do want to see the rest of this series. I'm not sure how many parts I'll have left. Probably a lot more because sandwiches. Does that make sense? The sun went down at 6 p.m. today, and it does not feel like I've been filming for 16 minutes. That's insane. Whatever. Okay. I guess I did have to film a second intro. Okay, let's get right into this. They should have me play Bella. Maybe perhaps I do. Is it? Mm-hmm. Okay. And like cool to move it to there. That's good. That's good. Okay. Speaking of friends, I actually have made some friends recently, and it's been nice. Just a couple of chick friends. And it's been one of the first times in my life where I've had so many old friends and exes come around and try to talk to me. Not gonna work, buddy. Not gonna work for any of them, honestly. Because I'm a vampire. No. Okay. Who believes life is nothing but a long preparation for a few finger sandwiches with the queen? Hi, thank you, how are you? Or no, it's fine, thank you, how are you? That's what she says. Number 16. 100 things can change your life. That's a callback. The numbers of Isaac Morit's address were nailed to a